Good evening. I'd like to open the meeting. Roll call, Mr. Crowley.
Mr. Accomando?
Present.
Mrs. Crowley?
Present.
Mr. Cipollone?
Present.
Mr. Quinn?
Here.
Mrs. Robinson?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez? Mr. Winnie?
Here.
Mr. White?
Here.
Mrs. Otterella?
Present.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been sent to all members of the Board of Education and to the Bergen Record in accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, 1975. I'd like to turn the meeting over to Superintendent.
Hello, welcome everyone. I'd like to take a moment to welcome our new board member here, Mr. Chris Winnie, to his first official meeting. So welcome aboard, and don't be afraid to ask questions. So here we are. I'd like to talk about a little bit what's going to happen on Wednesday. At Wednesday's meeting, we're going to have a presentation on PARCC, which will reflect every grade level, all scores, and each one of the subject areas pertaining to PARCC. So consequently, what's going to happen is it's going to be every principal here, and they will discuss in a PowerPoint presentation where the grades are, where some grades went down, some grades went up, and how it all balances out in the end. So that'll be a very informative meeting, and I urge you to come back again on Wednesday and bring, another parent or somebody else with you to look at that. It'll be helpful. So moving along from that, I'd also like to talk about CUSAC. I think I had mentioned before that we were cleared of all, I'll say cleared of, but we met all the requirements as of last November, and we were distinguished as a highly qualified school. But the end result is that they are coming back. So it says here, just so you're familiar, and I will give a little presentation on this at a later date, your district is required to undergo CUSAC review in the year 2017-18, which includes submission of all required documents, followed by an on-site review, which basically means that they can be here from 1 to 3 days or more. Typically, it's 1 to 3 days. And what they do is quite extensive. In our case, they'll be looking pretty much at instruction and performance. That's where we fell short a little bit last time that we were corrected, especially in the area of curriculum, which that's a lot of work has gone on in curriculum. So they can look at that. But there are also the other areas that they can look at, such as governance and finance and so on. So we have to be prepared, even though we know it's instruction and program, to be ready for the other areas as well. So this is going to be quite extensive. I met with the administrators last week. We discussed this. We have another meeting set for next Monday, I believe. And we're starting to gather all the materials and things that we need. The difficult thing about this, as you know, much of what we do in education is now done online, from scores to lesson plans and everything else in between. And my experience over the past couple of years in working with CUSAC and the process is that you offer them a nice workstation, and they say, no, we'd rather see the hard copies. So, because of that, we will be filling up probably about 20 boxes, old paper boxes, filled with all kinds of documentation in every area, and just to be prepared. So I'd rather have it than not have it, but this is something we're going to have to go through, and we will go through, and I'm sure we will be successful. So hang in there, and I will fill you in and give you more information as it's needed. Also, I'd like to talk about this recently, 2 weeks ago. I got a notice from the Bergen Prosecutor's Office, and they have a narcotics task force looking strategically at heroin abuse, and they're going to be doing a presentation. We did arrange with the high school to have a presentation with them coming in on November 17th at 10 a.m., specifically for 9th graders. Our 10th graders this year already saw a similar program last year, but again, this one focuses more on heroin In addition to detectives coming in, they will have a parent of someone who maybe unfortunately lost a child due to an overdose, or someone who has a recovering child seeking treatment at this time. So I just wanted to make you aware of that, because that was one of the things I spoke to our staff about on the opening day of school, that this would be an area of concern, because as you know, we read more and more each day. We're looking at Narcan and all kinds of ways to be trained, but the bottom line is we just have to get it to stop, and it's very unfortunate. So we will focus on that. In fact, there were 320 total drug overdoses in the county last year, so that's a lot. So that's where we are. That's my update for today. We're looking forward to Wednesday. So,
Yes, sir.
okay. On student services, let's take a look at all of number 1. Every one of the boxes. It's 1 through 13 in number 1. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to move to number. Okay, sure.
Number 5 says that we're placing a student in Rochelle Park. Number 13 is the same number, and it says home instruction.
So that's home instruction that took place in the past. I guess the student had to be removed at that point. So let's just go back. Okay, on number 2, we can look through 2 through 5. Next section. Any questions on those? Yes, I have made a suggestion to Mr. Iannello, since we have 2 or 3 coaches. My only concern is in the area that we had discussed last year, I would like to have no more than two chaperone parents. That would be there in case students want to do some other things during the downtime. Yes. Okay. Seeing no more questions, I will move on to curriculum instruction, technology program, numbers 1 and 2. Again, talking about curriculum, you can see number 1, we are currently and still rebuilding curriculum here in Southbrook, from anything from science to all the elective areas which took place this summer as well. Any questions in regards to those 2 areas? Moving on to C, business and board. In number 1, you can look at numbers 1 through 20. Questions in that area? And moving now from 21 through 37, goes over to the next page. Any questions in that area? Number 2 is approve the field trip request. You can actually look back at this one, 288 to 312. Mandatory school. School. Any other questions? And then we can move on, same section, numbers 3 through 11.
I'll comment on a couple of them. 3, it's a bill, run through this with the Buildings and Grounds Committee. That's a checklist that has to get approved annually, and this year it gets submitted to the county office because we have the QSAC review. 4, 5, and 6 are the 3 leases that are in the budget this year. We already purchased the items and approved the leases. This is an amendment to the budget that the auditors require me to complete, so it records a revenue and appropriation for those 3 leases. 7 is evacuation rules for the school buses that are required twice a year. 8 is a comprehensive maintenance plan, and there's Form N1 to show the state through the county office that we're keeping up with our buildings and maintaining a certain minimum dollar threshold for maintenance items. 9 was a change order. We had some additional work done, but there was a contingency in the bid, so in the project cost, so it's additional $3,800 was the net amount. And number 10, we had to reject the solar bids that were received on September 8th. There were some material defects in the proposals that were submitted. The ad was in the newspaper today for new proposals. We're going to have a pre-bid meeting on Thursday the 19th, and bids will be opened up on November 3rd, Friday. Hopefully they'll be in order, and then for the November meeting, we'll be recommending somebody for solar panels to be added to our schools.
Any questions? I'd just like to say that number 3 also is part of QSAC. What we have to do is complete what they call a statement of assurance every year, and that's part of the statement of assurance, which then goes on to QSAC. And just so if you don't know what QSAC is, it's Quality Single Assurance Continuum. It's a big way of saying we're coming in to check to make sure all your records, documents, and instruction are done properly, is what happens. So, but that statement of assurance is due on November 15th. So at the next meeting, we will be giving it a read-through and pass it through. Okay, then we move to letter D on the first reading for these policies. We just take a look at all of them. I don't need to break them down. There are 41 listed. Some are regulations. Some of these policies are, well, 71, what do we have, 71 or 7200? Let's see. 7100 is all new. This is something that came, I think we received something in July or August, and for something else called a comprehensive equity plan that was due back September 30th, I think, or September 1st. Our plan is done, but we now, after you approve this at the next meeting, this will have to be added on to that comprehensive equity plan. So all of 7100. Questions? Okay. Seeing none, I will turn it over to our president, Mr. Armando.
Okay, committee reports. Anything on budget? Ms. Robinson?
Nothing since the last meeting.
Thank you. Go with buildings and grounds, Mr. White.
Yeah, last committee meeting we really just spoke about the renovations or just everything new that's been happening around all the schools. You know, whether it be fixing things, painting things. I think it seems to be going really well. Other than that, nothing really too much to do.
Thank you, Mr. White.
Yes, we had a meeting October 10th. Mr. Lloyd presented program of studies for 2017-18 and all the new programs and classes and some things we're piloting here at the high school, middle school. And also the other administrators talked about each school, the guidance program, and all the new and exciting things for this school year and the upcoming school year.
Thank you so much. Ms. Savarelli, anything on negotiations?
I'm very happy to say that we settled with the administrators. We ratified the employees. Their salaries went from 2.9 this year to increase Tony Letty, because she was substantially lower than everyone, so they brought her up a little bit to be able to fair. We increased reimbursement for the Leader program. We increased the maximum salary ranges for all titles, to increase the supervisors minimum to 90,000. New administrators hired after 7/1/17 are entered into the state's 2030 plan or less costly plan. And we changed the holiday schedule to follow the school calendar. This way no one has to work when the custodians are not here. We don't have to call them in. That was a big one, believe it or not. We're currently working with them to settle the Paris. It's looking really good. We are hoping to, I understand we had our MOA today. They agreed to it. It has to be ratified, and that's really it. Hopefully by November we'll be settled with that.
And Ms. Alvarelli on policy.
We just covered it all.
All right, thank you so much. Any correspondence? Old business? New business?
We just one thing under the old business, handed out the team charter that you guys developed the other evening, if you want to take a look at that, if, what time frame, if you want to get this on for Wednesday, approved and signed, or you want to,
All right, through the chair. Under before meetings, number 4 is the same as number 4 under all the time. So can we just take it out of before meetings and leave it at all the time? I thought that's what we did, but somehow it's still here.
Is there an agreement?
Yes.
Me too.
Sure. Just a couple little things under all the time. Number 1, I don't know if we wanted to shorten it to all board members who are here to the Code of Ethics. I'm not sure we need to have a school board member Code of Ethics. Just keeps it shorter and cleaner. So that's number 1. And then also, I would like to consider, and I don't really have the best wording for it, but adding one more, the nature of always be positive when discussing the district, always present the district in a positive light, something of that nature. Positive attitude creates positive changes. Yeah.
That was one of the topics that Matt Lee had spoken about, just as far as being professional on board. That's up to you.
I think that issue.
I'm fine. The only comment I want to make is like the number 1, you said to take out school board members. I would like to think that most people know that it's a school board member code of ethics that we're supposed to follow, but it's leaving it broad just by saying code of ethics.
Okay. I guess I was going with the thought that seeing it just for the school board members, they would be able to correlate that to the school board. But I understand your point as well. Never assume, correct?
You got it.
Whichever way the board wants to go. I'm just trying to keep them concise so it's easier to remember. Yeah, I was hoping somebody would come up with better language, but I'm not that happy with it. Always be positive when discussing the district, or always present the district in a positive light.
I think that's just
Present the district as positive.
That works for me.
But always
present the district in a positive light.
that's under all the time, right?
Right, number 8.
through the chair. Also, on the bottom of this is, this was the language that was presented to us, so we didn't really agree on the bottom part, how do we resolve the issue. So if everybody can look at that and maybe come up with either keep it or change it or.
And then before we do that, can we go back to Steve? Instead of always present, can we represent? I like that better. Always represent the district.
Yeah, syntax wise, I guess there is a slight difference. I don't know how much of a difference it really makes. Represent is representing the district as a representative, be positive, whereas presenting is whenever you're talking about the district, you're always talking about positives in a positive manner, in a positive way. Because I guess you could be representing the district but still talking negative. Because my thing is positive attitudes create positive changes. And we've got a lot of positive things happening in this district over the last few years, and I think people need to know about it.
You can use both, I mean.
Use both, I was going to say, present and represent. That's right. Okay. You better do both.
Yeah, that's the bottom and
So what were you saying?
I was saying on the bottom part of this is what we do if it's violated. If we could look at that and make our own language or accept that or change it or whatever to look at that maybe by Wednesday or discuss it now.
so grievances have to be put in writing.
For this,
It says we should bring it to the attention of the board.
I was thinking it as a the verbal, discussion with the board. Is how I was understanding.
Yeah, I don't think we can get so formal. That's great. It's something that we can discuss, whether it's public or executive session. That's fine.
I agree.
If I had, not that big point of Steve, if I had a problem with Steve and we wouldn't know about it until we brought it, we just don't want to surprise anybody, so.
Okay.
Okay, so we're all in agreement with that statement, please?
It's really good.
Yes.
I think the board president should be involved in this, at some point, that you're brought to your attention, that there is an issue. Because if it cannot be resolved between the two, they need somebody to, help them along.
I agree, yeah. Sounds good.
Through the chair, just one thing, what what's his name? Matt said the other night was that, and this is, I'm just playing devil's advocate, that the board president or the officer doesn't mean you have any more, when this comes to this, everybody's kind of equal on that. But I'd rather have one person that somebody went to that, to help facilitate that, so that, if it's not resolved the first time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think maybe where it says, if a board member feels another board member has violated any provision of this agreement, that board member shall personally talk with the offending board member. So that's it. 1-to-1, it's done. It could be over in a second. Right. Then it says if it doesn't, then it would go to the entire board. But maybe we put a step in to talk with the president to see if it could be resolved before it gets to the whole board. I'm just saying, just to alleviate everybody being involved in it. If we can fix it, fix it.
Yeah, like that too.
We're adding another step into the president.
we're moving on from this. All right, so we'll go to this old business, right? The old business. New business?
Are you gonna have all this done for Wednesday, right, so we can sign off on it?
Yeah, I'll be able to make the
Okay.
changes and we'll send it out to everybody probably tomorrow and get it on the agenda. You can approve it and sign it.
We all sign one copy each, or? Okay. Thank you. Okay, new business.
Through the chair, just that October 30th is the Saddlebrook Educational Foundation's 10th Taste of the Towns at the Saddlebrook Marriott, if anyone's interested in tickets. The grant committee of the foundation that gives out grants to the teachers just made that decision on Friday, so that information will be going out this week.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Mr. Winnie aboard too also. Congratulations. I look forward to working with the entire board.
Through the chair, I just want to make a comment that Wednesday at 3:30, there's going to be a dedication ceremony for Karen Kenny over at Franklin. So if everyone's available, please come and be part of it.
That will take place outside by the back end of that courtyard area that faces the field. So if you come, just come around the back. We hope to see you.
Thank you. I'd like to open the meeting to the public.
Second.
Residents are requested to state their names, address, and subject matter. In the event it appears the public comment portion of this meeting may exceed 45 minutes, the presiding officer may limit each statement made by a participant to 5-minute durations. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and mindful of the rights of the other individual when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged and will not be responded to by the board. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded by the laws of New Jersey. The board bears no responsibility, nor will it be liable for any comment made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments, and be aware that there are legal responsibility and liability for their comments.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Matt Martinez, and though I am a resident of Saddlebrook, I'm here tonight as a 6th grade teacher from Long Memorial School. I teach language arts, math, and science. And I just wanted to share with you folks and everyone in attendance tonight some of the things that we're doing as teachers with our community. Our students have been very active already this year, and we've been participating with them. So I've sort of separated by school. I'll hope to keep this under 5 minutes. In Franklin families, as they call themselves, groups of teachers and students from all grade levels have engaged in a couple of activities so far. They've talked about the importance of being bucket fillers or bucket dippers. October is the anti-bullying month, so we do a lot to make sure our students get bound together early, and this is across all schools. They went with a crayon theme to get some of the younger students involved. So they read stories such as The Day the Crayon Box Talked and The Day the Crayons Quit, and then they had a Dressing Your Favorite Crayon Color Day held on October 6th. Over at Long Memorial School, we've been working on a big push with our new guidance counselor. We started the month with an assembly that discussed the importance of the school-wide Week of Respect poster contest. Each student created posters that represented what anti-bullying meant to them and respect as well. The winning posters will be displayed all year long, and students will receive a certificate honoring their work. And we're currently working on a Pinwheels for Peace project, which will help to celebrate Unity Day on October 25th, where we're exploring the importance of how peace, respect, kindness, tolerance, and understanding impact the world around us. We're going to culminate Anti-Bullying Month over at Long with a week of theme days where we will celebrate the themes that we have learned all month. Our PTO is also sponsoring a visit from the George Street Players, who will be performing the New Kid play that discusses important topics such as conflict resolution and peer pressures. At Smith, they started a campaign for kindness, and they are doing student spotlights, where they're picking individual students from a classroom, and then students actually decided to take this further by writing one nice thing about each student spotlight and posting it in the hallway. So sort of taking ownership of it, the students kind of became leaders of it. They also, the entire school participated in cross-grade activities to develop a theme for the recipe for friendship based on the book Enemy Pie. Concerning our dress down days, the Saddlebrook, last year, the Saddlebrook Education Association raised over $8,700 for different local and nationwide charities. This past month, we don't have a total yet, but we raised for the volunteer fire department in town. And we actually had an additional fundraising dress down day for victims of Hurricane Harvey, in which we adopted a school in the Houston area. And I'm glad to say that we raised over $4,700 on that one day alone for that school. And we were not the only district around to do it. So teachers and students working together to sort of make our community have a much louder voice to raise money for the cause. So, I thank you all for your attention tonight. I want to leave.
Thanks so much.
Mr. Martinez, kudos to you for sharing that information. There's lots of things that go on, and I know I'm sent a little sentence or two about something, but it's to really, pinpoint the certain activities really makes it sound wonderful, and it is wonderful. And I thank you for taking the time to share that information with us. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to? Let's make a motion to close the meeting. Second. Okay. To recess to close executive session to discuss personnel, HIV investigations, contract negotiations, and matters covered by the attorney-client privilege, or NJSA 10-4-6, Open Public Meetings Act. The subject matter discussed may be disclosed to the public if and when the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Action may be taken when the board reconvenes in open session. Can I get a motion? Second. Favor? I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you, Mr. Martinez.